And boom, we're live, and you caught his face. What's up,
everybody?
everybody? There he is. We're here again for another episode of the Wild Wild West Show. My soul brother right here next to me. I don't know if it's the left or the right, whatever direction it is, but the man. Yeah, there we go.
I'm not touching you.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm not
there
touching
we go.
you. There we go.
We're
Hey,
like
man.
on a. It's like a bad episode of the Brady Bunch. Like,
It's funny. Modern tech. We need like the boxes, like the Hollywood squares.
yeah, right. That would be funny. That would be
Remember
real funny.
that's a real throwback. Talk about people don't even remember that show anymore.
Dude, you know what? It's funny you say that because the other night we were laying in bed, and my fiance is like putting on. She put on the $25,000 pyramid. I'm like, what?
Wow, that's like
It's going again.
Hollywood squares. What's my line? $25,000 pyramid. Then later years, it turned into like crazy shit, like Lifeline. Give me a Lifeline. What was that show? Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? But it's nothing like the
Right.
cool shows we had. And I sound like that guy, like I always do. Oh, when we were kids, this was the best shows ever.
How about? Do you remember? This one came out, I think, in the '80s. I was a teenager. Press Your Luck with the no whammies, no whammies. Stop.
I don't know that one.
Oh, that was a big one for a minute.
I don't know that one. So whose line
Yeah.
is it anyway? We can go on and on.
Classics.
Password was great. Anyway, gotta have our
But
own game show. The Wild West game show.
how about But the Family Feud? I mean, still going.
Oh.
And Steve Harvey, I think, is the ultimate.
Well, I grew up with Richard Dawson, so
Me too.
so that was a cool. But Steve Harvey kind of is like a multicultural dude, and he's just got that. You know what I'm talking about, man. That's a terrible Steve Harvey impersonation, but you know what I mean.
Terrible. But I get it.
The way he gabs with everybody, and just the way he gets along with the families. He's very endearing. You know what I mean?
He is. I love. I don't know if you know this. I didn't notice about him until about 2 years ago. He does like amazing motivational speaking things and real powerful stuff, like positive stuff. I think like at the end of like every taping of Family Feud, because I've been watching like a lot of this stuff.
Really?
Really good. Like check it out, man.
It's awesome to me how like some guys like that become more than their comedic platforms when they first started, like how their careers just blossom into something really cool. Like he's like a worldwide, he's like a household name, and it makes sense. He's more than just a comedian. He's like he's an activist.
Mm-hmm.
That says a lot. He's an activist, so that says more than anything.
Absolutely.
He's awesome. He's funny as shit.
He is. So all right, so we got a bunch of stories, and we have to keep it to a tight schedule because my boy Ray's got a little talk with the powwow with the boys tonight in Spread Eagle. They got big things coming up over there, and you guys got a show coming up in a few weeks in Delaware. The halftime.
Yeah, it's actually right in Rob's backyard, so it's kind of neat for him. It's like it's a hometown kind of gig, but yeah, it should be fun.
Rob's from Delaware.
I know he was raised there. I'm not sure if he's born there. I'm not sure. Rob,
let us know, Rob.
Where you're at. I'm gonna ask him later when I speak to him. I'll let you know.
That's funny.
Rob's address is, and his phone number is.
It's 302, which is the Delaware area code.
1122 Boogie
Avenue. So, all right. So we're going to get into these stories right off the bat, and number one, big story, which was the only thing I threw out there as a teaser in case you saw anything, was a story that we talked about on the first show. There was a rumor going around that Motley Crue had a new guitar player, John Five, and Mick Mars was retiring. Well, it became official the other day. The announcement came out like last Wednesday or Thursday. Mick Mars has retired from touring, but he is still an official member of Motley Crue. And then they made the announcement the next day. John Five is the new touring guitarist of Motley Crue.
Oh, wow. And what if they're going to have him like as a hired gun, or if it's going to be like, I'm sure he won't be made partner for a while.
Right.
because it's a business. So I'm sure Mick Mars will make his money on his merch and probably do the writing with them, I imagine. So
Now that's the interesting thing, and that's what I was wondering, and I wanted to get your take on it. Like at that point where a person is retiring out of the band, like I was thinking about this, like now in the John Five position, who's gonna like when it comes down to like if they record any new music, who's gonna is it gonna be Mick that's gonna play guitar? Is it gonna be John?
well,
Who's gonna help with the writing?
right. Well, that's all speculative at this point, right? So I know that if I was a guitar player joining a band and I was, somebody of John Five's caliber, I would want to write, but I know that Nikki Sixx is the main catalyst for
Primary.
songwriting with that band. So
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll probably sit down and write together and they'll work it out. Mick Mars has helped build the brand,
Hmm.
so I'm sure as far as his cut of like everything from the trademark to the publishing, he'll collect on that like he always does. He's
Right.
already made his money. The rest is just fluff, isn't it? Right.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
But I think it would be cool if I'd be curious to hear it if they let John Five write with them, because that'd be cool. That'd be different.
Well, that's something I learned recently too. When this whole thing came out, I didn't realize when they did the soundtrack for the Dirt movie, they put I think it was 4 new songs, which one was a cover, the Like a Virgin cover.
Right.
They did. Um, like a Virgin comes up every week, doesn't it?
It's a great song.
It really is.
And this is for everybody who doesn't appreciate pop music. If you don't appreciate pop music, you're an asshole, because some of it's really fucking good.
There you go. There you go.
That's as plain as I'll put that. It's Madonna, bro. Madonna, she ruled the earth for that decade.
Yeah.
It's Madonna. But
Madonna.
what she did with her face, I don't know.
We're still confused.
But it's Motley Crue, man. Motley Crue is going to go on for a long time, and maybe now they'll they have new energy in the band, and maybe now they'll tour. And I know it seems to me like Vince Neil's always touring,
Right.
and it's hard. We have one band member who's, whatever reason, doesn't let you be as active as you want to be.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm sure they'll get back to their benchmark of doing shows.
I'm sure. Yeah, so John Five actually helped write those few new songs on the Dirt. I didn't realize that.
Oh, so there you go. So he's already a writing member. So I'm sure they got their split sheets all settled. And that's a big thing, man. When a band writes, you gotta have split sheets. People bitch and moan about, if the drummer was in the room, does he get a writing credit for being in the room? It's a lot of nuance when you're writing. That's why when you're in a band, it has to be on the table. Like, we're gonna write, and this is how we're gonna write. It's either the best vibe is to split
Evenly. Yeah.
But there are those bands where the guy just writes and he doesn't want to give it up. You should be happy just to be in the band I'm in because I'm writing these songs and they're great songs. So, be happy, because you're not writing anything better. It's really it's a slippery slope with this stuff, But to do it right, split everything, because it saves the headache, because everybody's in the room contributing. If you're writing together as a live band,
Right.
if you go into a room to jam and you start chiseling away at a beat, at a riff, a vocal melody, whatever it is, if you're all in the room and everybody's active in writing, then everybody should get credit, right? But if you write a song at home on your acoustic,
Right.
and you recorded it on your home gear, and you brought it to the band demoed, then it gets a little tricky.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. In the spread eagle world, like when I mean, you guys are young kids, in your 20s, and you're doing that, putting the band together and starting to write and on. Then you get that attention from labels and stuff like that. At what point do you guys have that conversation, and is it awkward?
That conversation is always awkward because it's about power. Whoever has the publishing has the power. You've got the money, so you've got to be willing to just give a little bit. I learned the lesson late in life. When the beginning of our spread eagle days, we were all just wanted to get in there, bang it out, and just be creative. We didn't even think about splitting things down the middle, you know.
Sure.
And then the record's done, and everybody's saying, "Oh well, you know, we need to work out this publishing. Ray, what did you write on this song and that song?" It got tricky. You know, I learned a lesson because you're young. When you're young and you just get thrown into this thing, you know, you want to make your money. You're having fun. It's all fun and games. You're drinking, you're touring, you're having fun, you're traveling, you're smoking everything, you're girls left and right, whatever. But then it comes down to business. And that has to be worked out. So every band should work out the splits first. If you're 4 guys going into a room to write together, you should all split it. Because it's going to create a headache, it's going to create resentment, and people don't get happy. And you've got it over a long period of time. You see what happens with bands over the years. Why do bands split up? Well, somebody was an asshole, didn't probably want to give anybody extra credit. You know, it could be so many reasons, man. But a lot of it comes down to like, well, I can write. Why am I not being given a chance?
Do you think that was like the point for you, where you were like, wow, this is a business. I'm like, this is now a music business now.
Oh yeah, because you know you live in this bubble where I'm just playing music and just feeling the love and this energy and frequencies and everything's so great, but you got to lock it down and get serious because it's a music business, right? It's everybody makes that sort of, you know, wordplay with that. You go into it with a sense of playfulness, but it gets very serious very quick. You know, so
I'm sorry, go ahead, Ray.
No. So it just changes the whole like perception of it. You know, if you're a good songwriter, you should get your credit. If you're the main songwriter in your band, you deserve, and you're bringing the goods to the table, and everybody else is just helping you arrange it, but you created it. Then that split has to change a little bit, just for fairness to the writer. But the best thing to do is just split things down the middle. It saves the band. You know, and you're a band. It's the word band. You're banding together to do something together.
Right.
But the ego and the psychology of it fucks with people. You know, if you're Michael Jackson doesn't need to split the credit to Michael Jackson. Right. You know what I mean? Van Halen, I believe they split everything 4 ways. Right. And that's Van Halen, man. That's Van Halen. So to me, that's the way to do it. But when I was back in my day, we woke up from the first record. We were like, oh, well, we were having fun in games and we're being intense and writing and oh, now we gotta do what? We gotta do copyrights and that's serious business, you know?
Wow.
Let me put down my beer and clear my head so I can think properly.
That has to be so weird, though.
It's tricky.
That's gotta be so weird, though, because just that, you know, everybody plays music to make music to get to that level. You know, they're thinking, just like you said, having your beers, if you're partaking in extracurricular activities, girls, you know, stuff like that, the fame, the fortune, and all the fun. Nobody, I know, like I never looked at it and thought to myself, oh yeah, well, it actually is a business.
Yeah, man, and it's a lesson you got to learn, and then you got to take care of the business, lock it down, so that you don't have to discuss it anymore. So as a band, you draw up band agreements. This is what we're gonna do as a band. We're all gonna write. If someone brings a song to the table, then they will get this cut, and everybody else will get that cut. If we all work on a song together, we're all gonna get this cut. That has to be a conversation that's done at the beginning of the project, because when it's done in the middle, the end, it gets awkward and it creates bad mojo in the air.
Interesting. So I like where we're going because we're like on a business topic now, and I have some business type topics to talk about.
Okay.
So Michael Wilton of Queensryche. Any connection with the Queensryche guys?
No. I've crossed paths with the band on several occasions through my years, but I never got to know anybody in that band. You know, I did see, like I said, we talked about it. Jeff Tate. I did see Jeff Tate play, but I've never had a conversation with him.
Okay. So Michael, there was an interview he did recently, and one of the stories that came out of that was just basically, especially after the pandemic, how expensive and hard touring is right now for bands because of, you know, the money or the prices are just through the roof for everything, gas and everything else, and it's just very hard for bands to stay on the road. Like, I'm not going to say this band name, but you know, because I hear inside stuff from people calling me up and stuff like that. And one of the bands I know just canceled their tour for that reason because they couldn't afford to stay on the road. It was just, and they were on like a good, 2-month tour.
I probably know who you're talking about, but you hear these names and you're like, man, wow, they even canceled.
Right.
When you get to like I said before, we always talk about the different shelves of bandom. You got your A-level bands that are big budget bands and make that's how they tour, and the people that get caught in the middle, that are usually openers and stuff like that. That's where it gets difficult. Unless you got money and you're gonna go buy onto someone's tour, it's very difficult.
Right.
And it sucks because it's always in the end, it's always like he who has the money gets to do more things. But it sucks that these bands. We won't do any names here, but it does suck to see that it's gotten so real that the good bands that are good draws can't even make their shows. It's sad.
It is. It really is.
We live in a really weird time, man.
And he was saying, how bands have to really constantly keep coming up with new ideas and new things to try to figure out ways to cope and survive to get through the road.
Yeah, man. It's like the days of being given money, of being handed things and taking it all for granted. Now you got to be humble. That's why egos get shut down. It's so funny, man. If you have an ego and you try to come through this business, it's not going to happen for you, right? You've got to be like, you've got to work social media. You've got to connect. You've got to go do merch. You've got to go to the table and meet everybody. You can't just hang in the back and be like, yeah, man, I just finished my show and I'm all sweaty and I can't meet anybody for like half an hour. I got to go meditate before I go meet my fans. No, man, you get done with the gig, towel off, go out and say hi to people and be part of the crowd. Be part of the rock and roll thing that you love so much. That whole thing of like, we're on this stage and they're way out there and there's a separation between, church and state. Nah, man, it's all one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think you're above it, you're going to have to pay for that privilege, motherfucker.
Isn't it kind of like, I guess it's kind of almost like things have come full circle with that because, back when, bands in the 80s, 90s, etc., were working their way up through the clubs, that's what they did. Like they would play and then they would go out and mingle and meet people and socialize and network and stuff like that to help the band rise up in the area and build up their name. And then bands like, say Spread Eagle or, Cinderella, Britney Fox, etc., they get signed to a major label. Next thing you know, you're getting put on a tour and you're on playing bigger arenas or theaters or whatever, and you can't do that no more. You lose that connection.
Yeah,
and now
even like when you play, it's like you're used to playing gigs in clubs where everybody's kind of close.
Right.
All of a sudden you're in this venue where there's this divider, and you really can't connect. You gotta really work the crowd. You gotta jump off the stage. You gotta walk up and down where the girder is, and shake hands. It's so different now. It's so different. Yeah. But just that jump, the bands. That's why I always thought it was cool when the bigger bands, like Metallica. I saw Metallica in like '93 at a place called the Cat Club in New York City.
Okay.
And it's small, not a big venue, but a good sized venue. But it was, they're touring, doing arenas and stadiums, whatever, right? And then they do these cool gigs at the Cat Club. And it was just like, it was a sardine can. You couldn't move, but it was so cool that they were doing an intimate venue.
Sure.
They went back to smaller rooms. Like the Rolling Stones did that.
Mm-hmm.
The Rolling Stones were smart. They would always go back to small rooms to connect because they were so fucking big. So
how about that?
Man. You got to work harder now.
Have you ever, like, I see, like these stadium shows or these bigger festivals.
Right.
And when you see like videos like from the stage or pictures from the stage, it's like you were saying, even with the arenas, there's that gap between the stage and the fans. But when it's something like that, it's almost like 50 feet, it looks like. I mean, it's a huge distance.
Yeah. But remember, you're working. It's a different work ethic too. Live, it's easier, to work a big room, of like 5,000 plus is a different vibe than working a room that's smaller, that's 500 or something like that. It's just a different thing. It's like crowd psychology comes into play, because some bands look at it and it's just, you know, audience becomes one big organism. You know, you treat it like one big beautiful thing. You know what I mean? So it's a different mindset.
It's interesting.
Yeah, because, you know, like I said, you play clubs, boom, you get on stage, everybody's right there. It's really close, and when they're there, it's a different work ethic. You know what I mean?
So continuing on with this business. Now I don't know if I can get this to work. I hope I can. Let me see. Let me try to play with my little toy here.
What, you got an easy bake oven there? What are you gonna do?
So it's weird. Like I can't just pop a picture on the screen like I did with the Madonna thing. It had it to be a video. And I have these videos. I have these two pictures I have to show you because I saw this yesterday.
We get the tech going. We'll be like Joe Rogan-esque, man.
Oh, okay. I can figure this out. Give me a second here. I'm gonna figure this out.
I love it.
I think I'm gonna figure it out. No, it's not working.
Well, you do that, I'll make faces. No. What are you trying to do? Don't surprise me. Don't tell me.
Shit. It's not working. Fuck. Let me see.
I'm excited. I'm waiting.
Shit, it's not working. Fuck.
Show
all right.
Canceled.
Doop. Yeah, right. Exactly. So, all right. So, do you know DJ Will, the old KNAC DJ?
That name does not come down. Remember, I've done a lot of drugs, dude. I can't remember anything.
Oh shit!
I admit it.
Right.
I admit it openly.
That's good. That's why I love you, man. Because you're straight up and you're honest. That's why. That's how this show works. You have to be honest.
It's like I was on my way to this cool rock thing, and I got like, you know, shiny things. Like, oh, what's that? You know, Ray, come over here.
So, all right. So this past week, 2 tours kicked off. And two tours. Bands from the 80s.
Okay.
The first tour kicked off. I think they actually both kicked off in Vegas or West Coast. Their opening night, maybe 1 or 2 days apart. And so DJ Will shared a picture of Merciful Fate's merch booth, which was a huge display and setup. And I mean, like 20 different shirts, completely stocked, completely filled, and everything looked amazing. You're like, yeah, opening night of the tour, boom. Then he puts a picture below. Opening night of the tour, Wasp and Armored Saint. Now, then this is Wasp's first tour of America in probably 20 years.
Wow, Blackie.
Yeah, and you know what? Zip, their merch was cleaned out, completely sold out. They had nothing. Now,
the way bands make money, as you and I know nowadays, is merch. So
exactly.
Either someone is really smart, and they have another way to order more merch, or, you know, because you got to keep that coming in, man. That's got to be a great feeling. First of all, to sell out all that shit, it's got to suck if you don't have your connection to re-up.
Yeah, like,
because that's your living, that's your money. You and I talked about the business, and it's changed that much where you rely on your merch for your lunch. You know, it's just, that's the way it is, man. That's how bands make their money. That's why you see bands grinding it out, and they have these. Well, one thing they got that nobody even knows who they are. It could be a band that's from, like, you know, whatever, a baby band, but they got a huge merch setup. That's where the money is, man.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Streaming for a penny a song ain't cutting it.
So let me ask you this then, because when I instantly saw that, I said and I even commented, somebody got fired, has to be fired for this. So who technically would be in charge of that?
Well, who's ever managing is probably getting yelled at a bit, or who's ever tour managing. You know, you need to have a merch person and someone to be on, especially a band like Wasp, you know, because you know you're going to sell out of stuff. So I can't even imagine that kind of fuck up. you know. But you have, if you don't have if you have a merch person and that's not going to happen, you have a backup merch person. You
Right.
got to set that up. And then that's, you know, redundancies of that. You got to make that happen. But I can that's horrible, man. To run
I
out of
couldn't
merch
believe it.
because you know you can make money and you can't make it.
Yeah.
You don't have the product to sell. So once again, you're out there shaking your ass doing what you got to do, but you ain't making no money. Well, you're getting your guarantee. You're getting your, you know, you're getting your guarantee. But is it a real tour or is it just like, you know, a couple
No, it's a
weeks?
tour.
Oh wow.
It's a month-long tour. As a matter of fact, I interviewed John Bush 2 weeks ago, and he was saying they're doing this tour, and he has 20 to 30 other cities that they're not even hitting that he's like trying to pitch to continue the tour in the new year.
Right. Everybody wants to go out because they know it. Once you're out, you want to stay out as long as you can. You know, as you get older, a lot of bands are, especially those guys. I mean, they're going to fill rooms. Wasp
Yeah,
and Armored Saint are going to fill rooms.
they're
So I'm sure
selling out. A
yeah,
lot of the shows are getting sold out. Yeah,
believe me, they're going to find a way to make their money. It won't be a problem for long.
yeah.
Whoever,
So
whoever the new merch person is that, you know, that stepped in for the one that just got fired, probably.
would you? Let me ask you this now. Like at this stage of the game in your life, would you want to go out on a tour like that, or would you rather like just do like the whole new thing too? Is like bands like Quiet Riot just doing weekends?
Weekend Warrior. I like the idea of just, you know, flying, but that gets to be a lot because you're flying on weekends. You come home on Sunday or Monday. You got 2 3 days to chill. Back on Thursday, you're doing it all over again. You really don't have a
Yeah,
lot of downtime.
yeah.
I, I'm I'm a fan of both. If it's a good run, you know, if it's anchored well, you got your anchor dates, you know.
Hmm.
I, 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 I can still handle living out of a suitcase. I couldn't. I don't know how long I could do it for, but
Hmm.
I'd be curious to try that, you know. But I don't mind going out for like a month at a time. I think that's actually a good idea. As you get older, it's all about, you know, you got your family bitching at you. You know, it gets different. You know, you as you're younger, the joke is, you know, my bag's always packed. It's a go bag. You
Right.
know, when I get the call, I'm out the door. I'm rocking. And then time goes on a little bit. You sort of have other things clicking. But my life is geared towards always being ready. So if it's for a weekend, if it's for 2 weekends, if it's for a month, I'm good to go. I still enjoy life on the road because I love to eat. I like to find the good restaurants.
Hmm.
I like to get local with people, and I like to meet everybody. It's a gypsy lifestyle. If
Yeah.
you're not into it, it's going to be miserable for you. But I like, you know, I like exploring. We're explorers, man. Musicians are explorers. We just go and play with places. We shop our wares by playing our songs, and then we go out into the city. You know, I love all that. Especially
The-
like with Rick DeLuca. I mean, Ricky will always find the good restaurants,
hmm.
you know, and the ones we can't afford, of course. But you know, it's about exploring, going out into the city, not just holding up in your room like you're somebody special. You know what I mean?
It's true.
I like it because I like to be there. I don't bitch about it. You know, there feel, oh man, you got to go on the road again. When underneath, they're really excited to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I love
Now
it.
it's crazy. My buddy Jaron, who which you actually played with when you did that thing with George Lynch, bass player,
What a great dude, man. What a nice guy.
dude. I don't know how he does it. Like he's with Tantric. He hops off the road with Tantric. Now he goes and plays with George. He also plays with it's his girlfriend and the one of the guitar players from Stone Sour in another band called the Life Project,
Yeah, yeah.
which they're doing dates. And then he plays with the old Philly band Heaven's Edge now, and they've been doing some dates, and they're actually recording an album getting ready to be released. Like I don't know how he is able to calculate it all out. It's unbelievable.
Well, you've met him, you talked to him, and he's kind of he's got this great energy.
Yeah,
You know, he's just a good dude, man.
he is.
So,
He's a beautiful dude.
but the conversation I had with him, he's just geared up to doing that. Like his life is just geared towards being on the road. He does.
Yeah.
He's just conditioned. He does it well. You know, I witnessed him in action those couple of days. He's just built for that.
Hmm.
You know, whether you know with his girls in a band, she's touring, he's touring, so it all works for him. You
Yeah.
know? Some guys are just really good at it. Really good
Yeah,
at it.
I just like I get tired watching them. I
But
just like,
he's
amazed.
he's a young cat, you know. It's like he's just got those kind of skills. He's got great. His tone is fat as hell. So you
Mhm.
know, everywhere he goes, he's welcome because he's a good, solid player.
Yeah,
Great guy. And of course, some guys are just he's got enough experience. When you have experience at something, you become very good at it,
yeah,
right? So if you're on the road and you know how to travel, that means everything. Knowing how to budget yourself, how to get the plastic bottle of water through the airport security. Like some guys just have that gift, man. They love to
absolutely.
travel. They love to play rock, and they do it well.
So, talking about Jaron and the whole George Lynch thing and everything, um, I just saw.
I'm not shy about it. Go ahead.
Hey, we had a great conversation about it in our interview, which I'm dropping the comments on YouTube later on, it, for when Ray really talked about that whole situation. But my thing was when I saw it the other day, something popped up on Blabbermouth. Which let me ask you in this, obviously, because now doing this show at you, I realize I don't think you even look at Blabbermouth or any of these sites or anything.
No.
Why is that? Is there a reason, or you just don't want to?
I've never ever. Okay, I don't watch myself. Right. I have
Okay,
a hard time. I do enjoy the studio and recording and hearing the vocals back when they're mixed and cool sounding. But
okay,
I've never gotten into reading reviews
hmm.
or any of that. I just, uh, since I was younger, when you're singing for a band, the last thing you want to do is go outside yourself to read all that because it fucks with
Yeah,
you can easily have a crisis of confidence,
yeah,
if you're not a strong person. And I've been told that I'm very overly sensitive
hmm.
and I have a quick emotional trigger. So, but as I've gotten older, I've that the hits are okay. You can become Teflon, but I've never had the need to read even a good review about myself.
Hmm.
Or I've never ever felt the need. So I appreciate what Blabbermouth is doing, and I grew up on Rolling Stone, Cream magazine, all that stuff,
Yeah,
and I just found that I'd never been that guy that gets excited about reviews or articles.
hmm.
It's everybody else always around me is always into it, and I'm just like, no, man, because I kind of like I feel I'm confident enough. I throw it out there, and it is what it is. I can't take it back. I know if something's good or not because I know my signal more than anybody else. So if it's a good show, it's great. Great, that was a great article. All right, cool, man. But I don't go searching for that stuff, man. I don't know why. I can't explain. Maybe it's a psychology. Maybe I wasn't loved enough as a child. I don't know, man. I don't have the need to have my ego fed or torn down by reading an interview. Oh, well, you should watch videos because they help you perform. I've been doing it long enough where nothing's going to change.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So it's
yeah,
like, not that I'm jaded or haggard. I just don't. I think there's great writers out there. I know some. And wordsmiths, man, if you're good at something, God bless you. But I don't read the magazines or the sites that much.
Which then my question doesn't. That's why I wanted to ask that before I even got my question, because when I saw the article on Lynch Mob and some of their live performances with the new singer, I was like, I wonder if like Ray saw that, like, would it bother him?
Oh no, man, because like I did my thing. I knew what I was getting into. Like I told you, I didn't prepare well. So what I got is, it's my own medicine for being dumb enough not to prepare the way I should have, and not doing it. It's like I should have waited. And so, but we live in a time, bro, where people are just going to either say something nice and kind, or they're not. There's no middle road anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
So I just don't get mixed up in it. It doesn't bother me if I'm like, all right, somebody's working with Lynch, but to me, it's like, it's just another day.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm number one. I respect the man because he's out there swinging for the fences. He's still playing and making his money.
Hmm.
So that's all good. And anybody that can get on that train, and make the money with him, God bless you. You know what I mean? But I just don't go chasing who's singing for Georgia Snow. It's like I just don't care. I have enough to worry about with spread and what we're trying to do than worry about what everybody else is doing. I'm aware of what people are doing, and I know bands are out there. I do listen to things, but I don't go, what's on Blabbermouth today?
So, all right, now I gotta. I'm getting a little off topic now.
Bring it.
So, does because look, I'm not even in the business. I'm just one of these talking head people that gets to talk to people like you and do interviews and become friends with people like you. But you're in there. You've been in this crazy world for 30 years now. Do you get like, especially now with these things? Do you get I'm getting them now, and
Really?
do you get like the text when like gossip is going on? Like, yo, did you hear this is going on with this band, or this is going on with this dude, and this and or
Yeah, I mean, I got friends in the business that tell me things, But remember, the business is so small. You're gonna hear things anyway. But yeah, man, people are always firing off, But and people bitch at me because I don't answer my text. Ray, you don't check your messages. Look, man, I'm cool. If you text me regular, I'm good. But if we're gonna Facebook message, if you're gonna fucking WhatsApp me and all these other things, it's gonna dude. It's over my head, all that shit. You know what I mean? I like to sing, I like to have a good time where I can, when I can, but I don't go digging for stuff. And maybe I should. I should be a little more in tune with things,
I was gonna say, I don't like the whole social media thing. You're not like overly. I mean, you're active on it, but not like crazy active.
I need to be more. I need to do more because, especially with Spread doing more shows later this year, I will do more. It just seems like I never have the focus. I'm the most ADD motherfucker you'll ever meet. It's like a squirrel, just like that, and I'll get them off track. It's not that I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and then it's not like I don't make to-do lists for myself. Like I need to write a to-do list for me to do something. Do a quick video for TikTok. Boom, 5 o'clock. I need to do that because if not, I won't do it.
Right.
So I don't do the work as much as I should, but I got to do more work, and you'll see I'll do more work. But you're right, man. Because I got to practice what I preach, and for a band to get to be relevant in whatever it is, you got to be out making some noise. You got to be creating content, as they call it. And I've always been like, there is the attitude where I could be like, oh man, I don't got time for that nonsense. But it's not nonsense anymore. For me to be active, my band to be active and active enough to get gigs, I've got to be doing social media.
Yep.
Rob's got to be doing social media. Rick's got to be doing social media. ZB's doing his social. Johnny does his social. It's part of it's part of the now, man. It's part of the now. Do I if I had the perfect setup, I would do social media all day because I would do comedy bits. I would and I would do all that. We'll probably introduce some characters into our podcast or something because you got to meet Bullethead. He's the ultimate rap. He's the ultimate rap star. He's a funny dude, but he's also a bit of an asshole. And it's not just rock and roll and singing for me. It's I love the idea of doing comedic pieces, food. I like all that. I think because my life is not based on playing guitar 8 hours a day or playing bass 8 hours a day, playing drums. It's I have more. I know I just like to entertain, which leads to a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So
did you just yawn?
You caught that, didn't
you fucking bastard.
I tried to cover.
Ray.
So another story we talked about was the celebration of Pantera, the Pantera reunion, however you want to word it. The first show sold out. 5,400 seat arena was sold out so quick they moved it to a 17,000 seat arena.
Can you imagine how that band must feel? Can you imagine that feeling? Okay, man, I want to do a gig. Can we try to do this place? It's a really good size place. Although it's too much. It's like somebody had to know. It's Pantera, man.
Yeah,
It's
come
Pantera.
on.
It's like, it's big, and it goes to show you the music taste of what the country or what rock and roll people really want.
Yeah,
Classic
people
bands,
need.
classic bands aren't able to fill up most places because things are changing. The audiences, that younger audience is getting older, and they want their music, and they're gonna in their venues. There's room for everything. I think if you're a really good music machine, there's always room for you. A good band is always relevant because people love really good music and like to watch it done right. And a band like Pantera is just serious business.
Absolutely.
That's that level that you know.
I'm writing notes for future topics to talk about.
Okay.
I know we have limited time, so I got 2 more news stories I want to throw at you, and we can wrap. Joe Lynn Turner, one of my all-time favorite singers.
Oh, great singer. Great guy. Great singer.
Great, yeah. I had the honor to interview him like 5 years ago. Great guy. Did you know you don't go on the sites, but did you know that he wore a wig?
I did. Yeah, I did know that. Somebody told me that. I never talked about it with him when I met him, but I'm like, that guy's hair is too perfect.
Right.
At his age, his hair is too perfect.
Well, he recently decided to remove the wig, and he's bald. He has a condition called alopecia, which it's crazy. A guy I used to work for years ago had it, and when I first met him, I thought he had cancer because he was like no eyebrows, everything was just completely bald, no hair on his body, and it's a condition where your hair just falls out.
And it's also a fetish in certain places. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be
terrible.
surprised.
It's terrible. I'm going to shave you like a smooth baby.
I'm not going to go down that road. I'm not. We don't have enough time.
So I'd see. I would have. See, I do get blabbermouth notifications in my email.
Okay.
And now that I'm talking to you, I'm gonna open them up more.
No, don't open them. Don't open them because you'll ruin it.
That's why we're here. That's our vibe.
That's why we're here. Let me.
I don't know anything, and I only know about things that I come on this show.
Exactly.
Let's educate Ray. The education of Ray is what this should be called.
Let me. I'm going to find this freaking story because I know how to pull that up, and I'll be able to show you the picture of him.
Yeah, because it's always him in that beautiful black swath he has,
Okay, here we go. I found it. Let me see if it's. Oh, that picture's
I have a funny Joe Lynn Turner story. It's quick when you're done.
Okay, let me. All right, I'm gonna come back here. Let me do this. Chubby Dudley's
talking this whole time. Chubby Dudley.
Chubby Dudley.
That's like a pimp name. Yo, man, this is Chubby Dudley, dog.
All right, here we go. Boom. Ooh. All right, can you see that?
Wow.
There he is.
He kind of looks like a little Nosferatu vibe there, man. It's cool. It's got like a little vampire-ish vibe.
Yeah, I think he looks a lot better.
He looks cool like that.
Yeah.
Wow. It's cool.
Yeah, I think he looks a lot better.
Wow.
I'm glad he did it.
Yeah, because there's this thing with like vanity and rock and roll and aging rock stars. Rock and rollers and rock stars. Well, Joe Lynn Turner was a rock star. And he still is a rock star.
Absolutely.
There's this sort of like I always crack up at the people or the bands that try to keep their same sense of style through the
Okay.
years, even
Mhm.
though their bodies and things change. You know, like there's this body type. You know, like the Grinch. Let's call it the Grinch. You know,
Okay.
and when you see the dude that was younger, he had a cool long black hair. Then you see him in his 40s, and it's a little more thin, but he's still trying to have it stringy. You know, and he's still trying to fit into these tight, cool clothes. But his body type, it has the belly. You know, and
Right.
so it's I like to see people age gracefully.
Mm.
You know, and to me, rock and roll is a mindset. It doesn't have to be what you wear, you know. But for some people, it is. You know, they got to have their leather bracelet on. You know, their black shirt, you know, black
Mhm.
pants, the sunglasses on, or the tattoos in the right place. And I'm all for tattoos, piercings, but as you get older, if you see that you're looking a certain way on stage, you need to address that.
Yeah.
You know, if you're gonna be like, you know, laid back, then dress laid back. You know,
Mhm.
but it's funny to see like, okay, uh, I love Angel. I grew up on Angel when I was a
Yeah.
kid, and I saw a picture of them live, and they still had the white,
Yeah.
you know, but the body types had changed. You know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah.
some of them look like dads
Yeah.
wearing tight white clothes. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? And
Yeah.
I'm trying not to be like, you know, mean spirited about anything. It's just I really even I went through it. I went through it for years. I kept my hair a certain way. I had it, you know. Oh, I gotta have my hair long. Got to never cut it. And only recently I cut it finally, you know. And it's like it made me feel like I feel great. I feel normal. I'm not trying to be something I'm not. You know, I'm still me. I just look the way I do now. You know, we all age differently, and some people just got to understand, man. You got to wear clothes that fit, so you
Mm.
don't look stupid.
There you go.
But in reference to regard to Joe Lynn Turner, I think it's great that he's
Mhm.
grown into the look that he has, and he's evolved, and he's cool with his evolution where he is. You know, it's a very cool look because you know once again it's thought out. Well, I'm gonna just shave myself bald, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna dress cool as fuck, like a vampire.
I think it works. I applaud him.
Yeah,
Hat.
and listen, man, you know, if people just, I don't want to sound like a total fucking asshole, but it's like if you're in a band, just be aware. Be
Mhm.
aware of things. Be aware of yourself. Be aware of how you look because you do have to be aware of how you look. You can't not give a fuck about how you look. I don't want to go see some band where the guy's wearing shorts and fucking flip flops. You know, that's not my band to go see. You know, and so it's like I think it's everybody has their own flavor. You know, if you're going to be that one guy that's in shorts and flip flops because that's cool, and the rest of the band is rock and roll, you if you've earned that right, he's earned that right. You know what I'm talking about? He's earned that right
Yeah.
to wear flip flops and shorts and but that's not, you know, I'm a
Let
little
me ask you
more
about this.
I'm a little
What
more
about this?
fancy.
What, like, you know, I used to like do the Just for Men. Like in my early 40s, I used to do Just for Men and
Oh
paint
yeah.
that shit on. And then I got to a point like I finally was just like, you look like a jackass. Stop. So I stopped and I let it go. And
There's nothing. Go ahead.
Jizzy Pearl, I was interviewing Jizzy Pearl a few months ago, and he started breaking my fucking balls. He
Now,
started. He's like, dude, you gotta like dye that, and I'm like, well, no.
now I know Jizzy from back in the day.
He's a great
So,
dude.
but far be it for me to put my neuroses on you. You know, like if it makes you feel, I'm going through it too. I mean, dude, I'm happy. It's a process accepting aging. Okay, this is a big topic.
Yeah.
The aging of rock and roll. It's a topic no one talks about. All the guys that are aging, all the girls that are aging, whether they're in the audience or on the stage.
Hmm.
Everybody, some people just hang on to the past and they will not let go, and they're fighting till the good fight, you
Hmm.
know. But while they're fighting the good fight, you see that they're fighting the good fight, and they look tired from fighting the good fight. So I know people that are like yourself are much more comfortable and carry themselves much cooler letting the gray come in. You know, it's like it's a badge of honor. You know, you
Yeah.
don't realize that till you get older. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, it's, you know, it's the badge of honor, man. But it's a big deal. But I'm not going to tell someone, because you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, hang on, I got to fix something. My audio.
And he's back. And your audio is gone. Cannot hear you. And you're locked up. And where'd you go? Did you get a text message and it threw everything off? Because I know that happens sometimes. Ray, come back. Hi, I'm going to pop some things on the screen real quick while he's gone. Hub. So my boy Hub. All right. So he says on the albums, Mick Mars is still going to be playing, which is cool. Oh, shit. Ray's power just went out. He just texted me. All right. So I'll wrap up the show. Let me just text him back real quick. This is what happens when you do live broadcast. So, all right, Mick Mars playing on the albums. That's going to be interesting. Well, I mean, it's the way it should be, but I wonder if they would give the opportunity for John. Oh, maybe John will play on this song, Mick, you play on this song, or maybe both of these play together. How about that? That would be very interesting. And he also said, "Oh wait, is Ray coming back? Are you back?"
Yeah, that was crazy. My power just went out.
Whoa! Look, he's like sitting. He's in the dark over there.
Right, you can hear me clear, right?
Yeah.
So what I was saying before I was so silly is that the aging of our generation who love metal rules for life, you know, it's cool to watch everybody sort of get older together, and
Yeah.
you're watching your favorite rock stars get older too, you know, and everybody's just sort of like, you know, people mimic whatever they see, you know. Let me turn the light on. Sorry.
Well, how
People
about even? Did you see like when? I guess I think it was earlier this year. You know, Ozzy's been going through like all his health stuff and surgeries and stuff. And at one point, he had let his hair go gray, and it was like people were like in an uproar, like, "Why would he do that? I can't believe!" Like, come on, the guy's like in his 70s. Leave him be.
Because you got people that want, and we always go to this, man. You've got people that want you to think the way they think. And they're not happy unless you think the way they think, or at least agree with what they're saying.
Yeah.
You know, it's such a natural process, you know, but rock and roll, the visual of rock and roll, you know, Ozzy as the Dark Prince, the black hair, you know, you just got to accept that rock stars age out. You know, Ozzy's going to be Ozzy 100 years from now, because we remember Ozzy in his prime. So we have that. But because we live in this world now where there's social media and we know everything about a person, you know, it blurs the line a little bit. So I'm comfortable with getting older. I wasn't for a long time. You know, and it's because I look in the mirror, and when you've taken photos of yourself as when you're younger every day and posing, and as you get older, you can't capture that, but you have that memory. You got that experience. So what we're talking about is experiences. My experience lets me let myself go grayer, you know, or not go grayer. It lets me look the way I do, you know. And some of the people that are our age don't do well visually. There's some people that are in their 50s and just don't look. They look bad.
Yeah.
Look unhealthy. And there's some people that really take care of themselves, you know, and they just present themselves differently. Rock and roll has always been about presentation.
Yeah.
You know, yes, you can go out in shorts and kind of be sloppy, but the appearance has to be sort of neat and together. I see the guys with the gray hair and that are longer and cut cool ways. And to me, that's cool. It's still an image. I got a friend He almost looks like Edgar Winter. He's got beautiful
Okay.
silver hair and silver. It looks cool as shit, man. And I'm like, I want to do that. You know what I mean? Because it looks cool. And
Right.
some people just age and they make the look work. Some people can make gray work, and some people can't. You know, and the ones that can't usually are fucked up in the first place.
Yeah.
And they have a hard time being out there. They're always in the mirror, always worried about how they look, what they're saying, what they're talking about. You know, they're under their own microscope all the time. And those are those people. So I'm not going to tell you, oh man, you need to put stuff here, because that's not my place to tell you that. You know,
Exactly.
that shows you neuroses right away. You know, you know what I mean. And I know I know he's a cool guy. I'm a fan of that Blackout in the Red Room album.
What a amazing fucking album.
Wow, man, that came out the same year that we did. And remember, we were flying out to LA, and I heard the song Blackout. I was like, man, it was in my head all the time. I had it my cassette, my tape player. I had a CD player, cassette player. But we were on a plane, went out to LA, and the first band we saw that night and we heard about was Love Hate's doing a gig. I'm like, oh my god, I got to go see this band.
Wow.
You know, and they were great. They were fucking great. That album is a piece of work. And what a piece of art
It is.
Man. And I saw them live a bunch of times. You know, when they were recording their second record in New York, I hung out with Jizzy quite a bit, and I found him to be, you know, quite a character, man. He's quite a character. But aren't we all? You know.
Did you ask him about hanging himself off the Hollywood sign?
No, I didn't. We were just drinking beers and being, you know, we were like just being chill friends.
Isn't that though? I was gonna say, isn't that the greatest publicity stunt ever?
Look, man, it's genius, because it's original, number one, and someone's always like, oh, I should have done that, you know. And it's a story that they have forever, you know. Oh, look, that's the band where the singer did that or whatever. I just really like that first record.
Yeah.
I like Jizzy. The guitar player was really cool too. Johnny Rockstar, was that his name? Johnny Rockstar, something like that.
I forget.
Oh man, he was just the coolest guy to me, man.
Yeah.
I met some cool people along the way. They made a great record. I wish they were together as a band, because they would have done well together.
Absolutely.
Actually, they got another quick one. They got we were going to do the AC/DC tour back in the day, and of course, Love Hate got it in Europe.
Okay.
That's how I'm always like, fucking bands, you know. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. But they were great. Don't listen, man. You just do you. I love you because you're you. You just do you. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm doing.
And I'm getting gray soon enough. It's all coming in. So, you know, look, I even put on the piss shades today. It's my urine colored shades.
All right, let's. I'm just gonna pop a couple comments on the screen, and we'll call it a night. I know you got to get going.
Are people really watching this?
Yeah.
Get out.
How about that? All right, our boy Rockstar Rob, our merch. Look, he wants to now design our merch. He did our logo.
Yeah,
which
bro.
I got to send you over his Facebook. He's like, will you tell Ray to accept my friend request?
Facebook does this thing when you get, I don't know how. I got 5,000 people. I don't know. But if you have like a certain amount, they don't let you add friends anymore.
Yeah.
You can't. And I'm kind of like old fashioned, so I don't want to start a new page.
Yeah.
So I'll figure it out. But tell them I'm sorry, and I'll get right on it. I'll open it up and make sure I do that.
So he's saying we need him to make merch, and let's design it.
Yeah, bro. Let's get some ideas going. That's a good thing.
And we
Ray-Bay
have
shirts. Ray-Bay.
Ray-Bay. We have Dennis here. Saludos, Ray. Do you still communicate with Oni Logan? You guys are my top 2 Latin singers in hard rock.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Me and Oni came up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and we kept in touch up until his first, when he was doing the Lynch Mob record, the first round of it. I was in LA for that, and we hung out. And since then, I've seen him maybe like over the years, just 2 or 3 times when he was gigging. And I did write him on Facebook. I sent him a message. I sent him, we'll communicate once or twice a year. How you doing? You okay? We didn't speak after the Lynch thing, so maybe he was like, "Oh, what happened?"
That'd be funny.
But he's a sweet guy, man. Nothing but great things to say about Oni. We just, he and I came up together. We drank from the same glass of water, so we kind of have the same. I feel like I have a lot of musical. Trying to compare the same sense of melody as Oni does, and I think maybe it's because we came up the same way. And Oni has a great sense of style, and he really set the bar high for himself on that first record.
That's cool. Cool. Well, Ray, I know you got to get going. Thanks again. We'll be back next week with more stories, more fun, more laughs, more gray hair, and make sure everybody go down below, drop us a comment, leave us questions, give us a thumbs up, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah, man, we do this because why not us? Why not? Why can't this place be the place for conversation and you guys join us? Why not, man? Bring on your questions, anything you want to know, anything you don't want to know. I don't want to know. We're here. See you next time, boys and girls.
Take care, man. Tell the spread guys. We all said hello.
Peace.
Peace.
Ciao.